I'm the captain of this bulldozer now. I'm taking over for this guy right here. If you missed the first video, put the link in the notes here. But here's part 2 of our ongoing feud with these guys right here. Okay, the next day, Allie just called. She's over at the condo painting and cleaning it up. The neighbors are at City Hall with their attorneys, and people at City Hall that we talked to yesterday are telling them that we gave permission for them to tear down something that we believe is on our property. So we're rushing over there. I'm going to pick Allie up. We're heading back to City Hall, figure out what's going on. But we most definitely did not say, please tear down something that we paid to discover is on our property, and we'll see what happens. Helpful tip: if you come to City Hall and you need to use the bathroom and you need toilet paper, bring your own. We've been here a handful of times over the last couple weeks, and they don't supply toilet paper or soap, actually. So bring some from home. So yesterday we rushed over to City Hall, and the attorney with the neighbors kind of explained where things were at. Essentially, we need to go to the highest point and try to talk to Jorge Sanchez, the Presidente, the mayor of Zihuatanejo. So we get there about 11 a.m. We're hanging out waiting. A little bit of time passes, and the attorney is talking to a few people at the city. Somebody comes out at some point because we told him we didn't agree that our garage that we believe is on our property is not on our property, and they can destroy it. And then they said, you signed something though yesterday. That's what they're saying. You signed something saying that it's not on your property, and they're using that to say they've agreed. So now the neighbor also, that proves that they know that it's not their property too. We didn't sign anything. We didn't sign in. We didn't sign a single thing the day before. So that's not true. Anyway, so we waited. We were just kind of sitting in the lobby. About 10 to 1, we get the word the mayor is going to meet with us. We go in there, and I'll say up front, I liked the mayor before. I don't know politics, Mexican politics at all. I know he works a lot. I've seen him at events on Saturday evening promoting for animals that we've been to, and events early Sunday morning. So I do know he works a lot, and he didn't say anything that made me lose any faith in his ability to bring people together. But anyway, so we met with him for about 10 minutes. He said, essentially, which is what we agree, which is if it's their property, it's their property. If it's our property, it's our property. By the end of the meeting, there was probably 5 or 6 other people with the development team, I guess. And today, in about an hour, the attorney, the perito, and then some people from the city who are actually already here out front, we're going to try to come together and figure out if we can agree on where this line is. So, for us, our big concern is if it turns out it's not our property and that's what it is and they're going to tear it down. The guy before was like, there's electrical meters on there. We don't care. You have a couple days to get rid of them. And that's really the only thing I brought up in the meeting, and the president was like, don't worry about it. He literally said, don't worry about it. He goes, those are easy. We'll take care of that. You have nothing to worry about. We'll move those if it comes down to that. And then after the meeting, he came up to me and he apologized. I think he'd heard some of the other issues with the water and sewer that we'd had. He apologized. It was really, really nice of him to do that. So at least I walked away feeling a little bit better about where we are. Then, just to add something to it, we get to our car and our car doesn't start. So right now, Allie's trying to deal with that. So that evening, we went to meet with the neighbor's attorney because we're trying to make sure we're all on the same page. They're going to take this as far as they can. And, what they essentially said was the reason they gave us 3 days to remove it is because the neighbors had already sued. And I think that kind of triggered some of these people.
They don't want to admit that they're wrong, is what they're saying, and they probably don't think that they're wrong. So there's obviously our side and their side, but they're going to try to push this thing through quickly. So, he told us that today he's not going to help us unless we want to pay the attorney. Like, he's only going to represent the neighbors. So we agreed to give him a payment for today. I think he's going to help us, the attorney, today, so we'll see where that goes. But we'll know maybe later today. We got 2 days to figure this out.
We're 3 hours into to this process today. Feels like the entire neighborhood is out front, wondering what's going to happen. The attorney is here. He's been really helpful. The perito, turns out he's one of the best in town, highly regarded. He's helping explain how we got to his conclusions on where the property lines are. And the city probably has 15 people out here doing their with their lasers and all those things that you use to decide property lines. They went through and they did them, and our understanding is that the initial results of that showed that our property extended out into the street another 3 feet, which is probably incorrect. So they're going to do it again, and then in 2 days, basically they need to in 2 days, because that's the deadline that they gave us to figure this out, or they're going to destroy it. So in 2 days we should have an answer. So we're kind of on our toes, wondering what's going to happen. Allie went out and got some snacks and sodas for the workers. We don't want them to be angry with us. Even the guy that I think definitely is angry with us and with the city, we don't want him mad at us either. So we'll see what happens. But we're feeling a little bit better today than we were a day ago. Today's the day, so we hope that we hear some word on what's going to happen. But at least there's a little bit of a reprieve, because if they want to bring the bulldozer back to tear down the garage, they first got to deal with this truck right here that's stuck. So I don't know. I feel like that's I'm not super religious, but that's maybe a sign that it's on our property. Here's the latest. We're 2 days past the deadline, so this is the most up-to-date information that I have on our ongoing saga here on the street. You can see they're working behind us. There's really no official word from anyone. The gossip is that they're going to go ahead. You can see the curb right here behind me. They're installing the curbs, and they are not going to touch it, which I believe would definitely mean that it is on our property, and it wouldn't surprise us if it's one of those things where they realize they made a mistake with the measurements, and we're not going to get like a formal apology or anything. They're just going to move forward, which is 100% fine with us. All we care about is if it's on our property, we don't want them touching it. So they move forward with the curbs. Still doesn't guarantee anything. This is all, again, just the rumor is that they're not going to touch it, but we haven't heard anything official. And I'm sure they want to finish the project. Yesterday they started working on Playa La Madera, and they're tearing up all the restaurants and kind of the makeshift coverings there. And they're going to install those cabanas, kind of like what they did on Playa Principal. So it should look really great. You saw a couple days ago the pipa truck that got stuck. That was pretty funny. One of the neighbors ran out of water, and it's kind of been an ongoing thing with some of the neighbors. It wasn't just us. Other people have had water issues. They turned ours off again for about 5 days. We've learned our lesson, though, so we were saving rainwater, using that to flush toilets, just conserving as much as we could. Just being a little bit smarter about it. But we do feel bad because there's been a lot of rain, and it's super muddy out here. You can kind of see behind me. It's it's just kind of dirty and muddy, and makes it difficult to get up and down the road. I feel we have a guest staying with us right now. I feel for anybody else who has guests. For people that are a little older, it's a little bit dangerous to walk. And right on the other side of me are the stairs that are like 50 meters from our house, but they closed those about 2 months ago, fenced them off, and perhaps that's part of this project. We really don't know. And then the other thing is, with all the rain, I feel like the mosquitoes have been worse as well. So
Just a lot of standing water, muddy water. But overall, we're cautiously optimistic that that they're going to see things the way we see them, the way that Perito is. Well, everyone has told us this is the best Perito in town for knowing measurements. He's licensed. It's an expensive process. You really have to know your stuff. So we feel really confident. You know, the bottom line is we're 15 meters by 30 meters. That's our property line. So, you know, they can tell us where it starts and where it starts, but where it ends is 30 meters from there. So you got to measure it some way or another. And the way it looks is if you started at the street, then the neighbor is way on our property. And if you measure from the neighborhood, then our property goes out into the street. So it's probably one of those things where, you know, wasn't an exact science 50 years ago, but that's where we're at, and we just got to all work together to do the best that we can. So I hope that I have a more official word here in the next couple of days, but that's where things are now. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.